Hello, RAP students. I'm Dr. Smith here today to talk to you about division and long division. So, when you're doing math, it's important that you understand the relationship between division and multiplication. Today, we're going to go through it. If you feel like you have a handle, just follow along. Make sure that you understand how to do division and how it relates with multiplication, because as you start to do algebra in school, you need to make sure that you can do this really well so that when you have to do order of operations, it won't be a problem. All right? So let's get started. Just in case I have some people who are not lovers of math and may need to brush up on some things, let's start from the very beginning. So division. Division is when you start to divide things, such as if you have, let's put at the top what we're doing, first of all, division. If you have, let's say, 6 cookies, and you have 2 students, and I ask you to divide the cookies between the students. And I'm going to say, how many cookies does each student get? So when you first start out with division, you may do it as a picture and mark things off as you go. I'm going to show you what I mean. So for each student, you're going to give them a cookie and mark it off from this side when you do. So give that student a cookie. Keep going. Give another cookie to each student. Another cookie. And the last one. So we divided the cookies between the students. So each student is getting 3 cookies. Each one gets 3 cookies. Now, this is one way to do it. However, the more advanced you become, you can't draw pictures for everything. Because if you had 200 cookies, you can't draw 200 cookies and start marking them off. If you have, let's say you have 15 students, that's quite a bit of drawing and marking off. So let's find a relationship here with the numbers. So down here, we have 6 cookies and 2 students. So down here, I'm going to put 6 and 2. Now here is where your multiplication facts come into play. You're dividing 6 cookies by 2 students. Now, there's a math fact with this 2 that ends up being 6. So I like to flip it around because division is the opposite of multiplication. It's the reverse. So let's reverse it and instead make the division sign an equal sign. And now I'm going to change this to multiplication. So just to remind myself, I'm going to put times. What math fact can go right here? I hope you know your math facts. So the answer would be 3. Isn't that the same as the answer we got up here for the number of students? Now, I hope that is not confusing, but we'll do another one just so you get the hang of it. All right, here's our next problem. So we now have 9 cookies. We're going to stick with the same thing, 9 cookies, except this time we're not going to draw the picture. And I want you to divide them between 3 students. So we're dividing 9. You're going to divide 9 divided by 3. So instead of doing division right now, we're going to reverse it to multiplication because I want you to see the relationship between the two. 9, instead of the division, we're going to do an equal sign and put the 3 there, and now it becomes multiplication. What math fact with 3 makes 9? It would be 3. So now you can say that each student would get 3 cookies. Now there's one relationship where this would not work. If you had 1 cookie and 3 students, it'd be kind of hard to do what I did up here because you can't use whole numbers. A whole number is like 3. It ended up being something less than a whole number, less than 1. So just so you can see this, I'm going to do the same thing. 1 divided by 3. Now, if we reverse it and make it multiplication, can you find a math fact that makes that true? I can't. Even if you put 1 there, it wouldn't be true. So in this situation, you need more cookies than students so that every student gets a cookie. Okay, let's do a little bit bigger number this time. We got another example. We're going to do 24 pencils. And you need to divide it by 3 students. So 24 divided by 3 students equals, and just so we have the relationship together, 24 equals 3 times, what's the math fact? You need to make sure you know your math facts very well. It's 8. So if we were to go back, we know that each student gets 8 pencils. Okay? Now, if you feel really confident about this, let's change it up a little bit. If I was to give you a problem where some number divided by 3 equals 5, could you tell me what number is supposed to go in the box? This seems simple, but you need to make sure that you can do this without hesitation. So in this case, if we were to flip it, we would have the box equals 3 times 5. So you should know that math fact. 3 times 5 should be 15. So your answer would be 15. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So if you can go back and forth like that and you can fill in missing numbers, that means that you have a good handle on division. Now the other way that we do division, instead of seeing it like this, 56 divided by 7 equals, you can change the look of the problem. 56 divided by 7. Now, what is the math fact that equals 56? 7 times, it would be 8. So just remember that you need to be practicing the different looks of division so that you don't get confused. So even people that think this is elementary, it's not necessarily just being able to divide. It's doing it quickly and without hesitation, and it doesn't matter how it looks, you know exactly what to do when you see it, okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to give you a word problem now that we've gone over how to actually do the numbers. We're going to put it into word form. Okay, so I have a word problem for you to read. Take a moment and go through the word problem so you can kind of just digest what it's asking, and we'll go over it together. Okay, so I'm going to read it aloud and show you how I look at word problems. Ashanti's mom needs to prepare for a birthday party. She invites 36 people and has 9 tables to set up for guests. How many people can sit at each table? So the first thing that I do, this is just me, is I like to make sure that I can see all the numbers really well. I underline 36. You can even do something like, if you want to know what the 36 is attached to, 36 people and 9 tables, if that is what you want to do. And I always want to know what they're asking me, because as the problems become harder, they're going to put a bunch of information in that may not lead you to the answer. So right now it's pretty simple, and we just want to know how many people can sit at each table. Now we could do a drawing, but we're trying to stay away from that because we're a little bit more advanced. 36 people, and you have to divide 36 people amongst the 9 tables. So here we go. We're going to take 36, divide it by 9, and see what it equals. So if you're going to do your math fact, some people may not need to write this step out, but I'm just going to do it for those who like the visual, where I kind of flip it to get my math fact. What is the math fact that equals 36? It is 4. So we know that 36 divided by 9 equals 4. The other way that this can be written is 36 divided by 9. And you can put your math, you can do the little multiplication sign out here to remind you about the math fact on the outside, and it will be 4. So we know that 4 people can sit at each table.